Hi everyone, this is Sarbjeet. Welcome to my channel, Business Analyst in Demand, the hands-on approach to business analysis and none of the textbook stuff. If you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe and the bell icon to get a notification for new content as we create it. Please like this video and leave us comments so we know how to make this content better and better for you guys. Thanks. All right, guys, let's get started. Let me share my screen with you guys. So we are doing a case study for those of you guys watching us in our Facebook group or as at a replay in our group. We are live in our Facebook group, Business Analyst in Demand. We're doing a case study. Lots of people around the globe are having to do case studies for a business analyst interview. So I've been requested by lots of people to do this. So we're in our third week here. All right, so let us begin. This case study is for Acme Systems or Solutions. I don't actually know if this is a real company. This is one of the case studies that I was given by some of the people in the group that I think are being presented to do case studies for an interview. Now, usually if you're presented to do this for an interview, they will give you 1 week to prepare. So what I'm teaching you guys is a framework. So don't think of Acme Solutions as something that you would do methodically, but it's a framework that you would follow for this case study or any other case study that you guys would have to do. So what I'm doing is I'm teaching you, typically this is everything that we're doing in this case study is bits and pieces of what business analysts have to do in their day-to-day job. Again, there's no right or wrong answer when you present these case studies. What they're trying to do is figure out how your mindset works in trying to solve problems, right? So as a business analyst, you are evaluating what your business issues are or what you're trying to do for your business stakeholders, right? So you are never the solution person. You are the person that has to accurately document what the issues or what enhancements the business is wanting to do. And for that reason, again, as I said, when you're presenting these case studies, there's really no right or wrong answer. They're just trying to see how logically you can document what the business stakeholders are trying to accomplish. So these are the things that we've done so far. They're saying the cleaning staff is a person who have our app installed on their mobile phone. Cleaning staff visits location/rooms assigned to him to clean the room. A supervisor is a person who verifies the work of the cleaning staff, and an admin is somebody who assigns a location/room to cleaning staff and assigns supervisor to the same. The requirements are the cleaning staff on start of his shift, log into the app. He then visits room or location which has been assigned to him by admin. He starts the timer while selecting the location. He does the cleaning and fill in the checklist with comments, if any, and once done, he submits a report and marks the task completed and so on. The supervisor visits the room/locations assigned to him. He pull out the details of his staff who clean the location. He verifies the work and assign the rate to them. And once done, he finally rates the work. Okay, so here are the assumptions, right? So that we documented at the beginning of the project is we said that this is going to be a mobile app that should work on Apple or Android. This mobile bifold group of mobile. Okay, so we said that this group has a chain of hotels. Bifold Hotel has 10 hotels in the same state and the same time zone. It has one supervisor per hotel. Each hotel has about 200 rooms, and then cleaning staff have 2 shifts, morning and evening. So what this becomes, you guys, is our very, very high level requirements. Because what we want to start doing this week, you guys, is start building a high level product backlog. So we're doing this project. Product backlog becomes that it is going to be a mobile app, right? This bifold group of hotels has a chain of hotels. So we'll just, I think, remove this one. So we'll say that they have has 10 hotels in the same state, same time zone. It should be 1 admin per hotel. And then you can have more than 1. And then each hotel has 200 rooms and the cleaning staff come in 2 shifts. And again, these are things that we kind of made up, and that's what we have to do because we don't really have real stakeholders, right? So if you were working this as a real project, this is where you would start your interview sessions with your stakeholders. You actually would start them to get your as-is workflows as well, right? Because how else would you know how they're doing their work today? In our case study, since we don't have the opportunity to work with real stakeholders, we're kind of just making stuff up at this point, just so you can see the logical flow of how things are done as a business analyst. So at this point, for us to even think, start documenting our high level product backlog or to do our to-be workflows, it's gonna be based on what I think I know of how hotel industry works. And if you guys have input on how the hotel industry works, and how cleaning staff come in and out and how rooms are clean, feel free to give me that input. But at this point, the high level product backlog, we're kind of just going to be making stuff up. Does that make sense, you guys? But in a real world scenario, this is where you would be interviewing your stakeholders. This is maybe where you would be sending them surveys to fill out. This is where you would maybe be scheduling jazz sessions to understand exactly what the pain points are, what it is that we're trying to solve, and what the scope of the project is. Okay, so with that said, let's start moving on and start talking about our high level. So we said that we were going to work this case study as an agile project, so that you guys have the opportunity to learn how to do case studies, not case studies, user stories, and how to put things in sprint. So with that said, I think this week what we want to do is focus on giving us a product backlog, which are high level features that we want to build in our project, so that once we have a full list of our features that we want to build, next week we can start working on our to-be workflows, right? That way it all makes sense. We'll know what to put in our to-be workflows if we have this high level product backlog. Okay, so these actually aren't backlogs. These are our assumptions, right? So when we talk about our product backlog, that talks about what the features are. So this having it to be a mobile app, that's a feature. This is just what the business does. So I will remove these items. I'll look at our use case diagram and we can pull up a lot of features from there. Hi. Okay, so when we did our use case diagrams, I don't know who was there with us. I think maybe we did this in the first week as well. We tried to identify lots of the features that we need to do. About that, I'm back. Okay, so we were talking about the product backlog. So the product backlog is nothing more than a list of features that we want to add to our project. Is that Rahul? Do I see Rahul on the call?
Yes. Good morning, Sarjeet.
Thank you so much for being here, Rahul. So Rahul, you guys has extensive experience in the hotel industry. So I've asked them to join these sessions so he can be our product owner. Did already create a use case diagram that talks about some of the things that we want. So typically our features typically come from our use case diagram because we've tried to identify things that need to happen in the application that we're trying to build. So with that, Rahul, if you can also help us out making sure and validating that lots of the things that we see in here are accurate. So let me make sure. Okay. So again, a product backlog is just a list of features or functions that we want to do or have in our project or our application. So let's go through our use case diagram. This will identify a lot of these things. So it says input available hours of input available work hours, login, check schedule. So these are, again, you guys, features that we want to put in over here. So staff, admin, supervisor, login to app, check schedule is one of the things I saw in the bubbles. What else did you guys see in there? So I see check schedule, start time when cleaning room. I think that was also one of the requirements. They wanted to document when the staff started to clean. So then a feature on the product backlog or a requirement that they want to build into the application becomes, start timer when staff is starting to clean the room and staff. Rahul, if none of this stuff makes sense, please let me know.
Yeah, things need to be changed. That's not how actually things work in a hotel.
Okay, tell us how.
So if we go back to the 8th slide, I can.
Okay, this
Yep.
case study.
Yep. So admin can be the housekeeping manager. Then we have a supervisor. Then we have the cleaning group, right? So housekeeping manager is the one who assigns everything.
Okay.
So
So
admin
is that
gets,
the admin?
yes.
Okay.
So admin assigns all the rooms to the supervisor as well as the cleaning staff.
Okay.
Then the cleaning staff starts with the cleaning, and then the supervisor goes through the rooms and makes them available. Clean and available is the term used, so that way the guest can check in.
Okay.
So the terms used are dirty, uh, clean, which is usually the signs are red and green. And then there is a, depending upon the hotels, or we can choose any other color which shows it's still not cleaned or work in progress.
Okay. So you guys, what you're hearing right now is really, really good, because what I said just before my baby woke up and before Rahul joined is because we don't have stakeholders, we're making everything up. But because we have Rahul, Rahul is our business owner or product owner for this project. So let's say if you're working on this case study and they give you the ability to ask questions, these are things that you would be doing with your stakeholder, right? So as we presented to Rahul what we have, we're asking for feedback, which is called stakeholder validation, right? And it's nothing but asking for feedback on the things that we've understood from the case study and we've documented. And now Rahul, because he has an industry experience, is giving us feedback in how we've interpreted from the case study things a little bit differently, right? So let me see, Rahul, if I have saved this use case diagram, and if I haven't, we can start from scratch, but I hope I've saved it. Give me 1 second to pull that up.
I actually went through the last two recordings and it's pretty good.
Okay, just the case studies wrong.
Yeah.
And I actually we were out last weekend, and when we went, after we checked in, we went to our room and I saw like a little piece of paper with COVID and everything going on saying that your room is clean and sealed. So it was like I was kind of impressed to see that.
So that's usually done by the supervisor. So when
Okay.
the room is cleaned and inspected, it depends upon hotels to hotels, but in this particular case study, we will think it as a supervisor who is doing the final inspection and not the manager.
Okay.
So considering we are looking at 200 rooms, so when the supervisor cleans it, he will put the tape on. That way, no one else goes through before the guest.
Okay, now tell us how everything needs to be identified.
Okay. Input available hours, that's the job of the manager. The cleaning staff is just told a schedule and they come and work.
So manager, not supervisor, right?
No, input available hours will be manager.
But I think they would, the case study said maybe that this cleaning staff also has to provide their availability. Is that not the case?
Well, that's when the schedule comes in, right? So that's done behind. It should not be the thing for our case study.
Okay, probably they're just gonna check what
the schedule. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Everybody needs the ability to log in, right, to this app.
Yes.
So cleaning staff. Okay.
Schedule is definitely created by the manager. Supervisor doesn't have access to that.
So let's go down this list this way. So we talked about hours, we talked about schedule, we talked about timer when cleaning staff is starting. So that I assume is something that the staff is only one that would be doing that?
Whatever the supervisor or the manager wants the cleaning staff to look into additional to the regular cleaning schedule.
Okay, just supervisor, not typically.
Even the
Okay, and then the linkage between here and here, I think, was when the room became available. It was over here. Cleaning supplies, I think we linked it to one of these things, maybe update checklist. How do staff that are cleaning the rooms update the cleaning supplies inventory typically? Who does that?
So anyone can put the maintenance request. So all three actors need access to maintenance request.
Okay, where can I put it so it's not so ugly? I think I'll put it over here. So this is where, let's say the cleaning staff goes in and they see something's broken, they can put in a request. Or supervisor notices something, or even the guest reports something in when they're in the room.
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first one being that one of the requirement in the supervisor section says that the supervisor will pull out the details of his staff who clean the location. Now, is that a separate use case or is this clubbed in one of the use case that is there over here?
I can answer that. It should be in assigned staff to rooms.
Okay. Okay. And the other thing is that that is written over here is that he verifies the work and assign a rate to each item, and then he rates the overall final work. Now, will that be two different use cases? Because functionally, there are two different functionality that needs to be developed. So will that be two different use cases?
No, it can be in the ratings. So when he goes to the room to inspect, he has a rating screen open that should do the job.
So from your question, so it is one use case, but it has two different actors, right? So that's why we have, for rating staff, we have the supervisor as well as the admin doing that. So when we write the user stories, we have to make sure that there's two people that can assign the rating to that particular staff. So from a requirement standpoint, we have to make sure that we identify that there's two people that are giving input. First is the supervisor, then is the admin.
All right. And also the fact that individually also they can be rated, and the overall also they can be rated, right?
Yeah.
And overall that overall the function that has to be rated, will that be the average of what that has been rated, or will that be a separate section?
I don't know how that works, Rahul.
So what basically we are trying to get from this app is rating the cleaning of the cleaning staff, correct? So it would not be an average. It would be just related to whatever the cleaning has been done on that particular room by that cleaner. And at the end, we can, in the reporting, we can pull all the records of the cleaning done by that particular cleaner.
Okay.
Yes, I've got a question here. In a place where you have the admin manager, could it have been on the other side to make the direction?
Oh, over
the
here?
Connection, yeah, to make the direction cleaner.
No,
to
no,
be on
no.
this side.
No. So when you're working on use case diagrams,
Yes.
anything on this side of the page, right? So on your left, what you're seeing on your left side are called the primary actors. These are the people that are going to be the primary actors interacting with this app. So for that reason, I know what you're saying, to make it cleaner. It's not about making clean or ugly or dirty or making it look more organized. It's about who are the primary actors that are going to be using the system. Your secondary actors go on the right-hand side, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's the reason why we have these three listed on the side of the page.
So the cleaning staff, supervisor, and admin, they are the primary actors.
Yeah.
And then the system, the reservation system, is the secondary actor.
Yeah, because it gets input from everything that's being done over here. They get input, and that's why they're the secondary actor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, so what I'm gonna do is because we have now this new updated use case diagram. I'm going to put that in the PowerPoint that we're working on. And essentially, all of these bubbles that we just listed become our product backlog for this project, right? So again, the reason why you do use case diagrams is to identify high-level functionality that you need to do for your project, right? So when we're building a product backlog, you refer back to your use case diagrams, and you then try to list everything that needs to be identified or built for this case study or this project if we were working on a real project. Okay. And I can go back and update things that I need to. So like maybe update checklist is only for supervisor. Assign staff to rooms is admin, manager, and supervisor. Assign type of cleaning is admin, manager. I think on the case study they said and I'll remove this. Okay, so now we have a full product backlog for this project. So next week, when we start our training session, we can start to create end-to-end workflow diagrams and talk about how things should be working. For the case study, typically, they're not going to ask you to do requirements for everything under the product backlog. So maybe what we'll do is next week when we create our 2-week workflows. So in the event, in the case studies, you will probably have somebody to go back and ask questions to, right, when they're assigning these things to you. So you should definitely always document assumptions, right? Because all of your documentation is going to build on top of those assumptions. So you should, whether you have a stakeholder or not, you should always document assumptions.
All right, thanks. I'm done. Thanks.
Okay. Hi, Pallavi.
I have one question.
Yes.
Okay, so all the bubbles which we saw in the UML diagram, those are the features, and each feature will have smaller user stories. Am I right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Well, can have a number of user stories. A feature can be as big as, it doesn't really matter. Any user story, any of those bubbles, those features will have a number of user stories assigned to them to make sure
Okay.
that we're completing that process or that feature. So with that, thank you so much for attending this training. I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Business Analyst in Demand. Again, Facebook group, Business Analyst in Demand, to join me during these live training sessions. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, hit subscribe and click on the bell icon to get notifications for new content as we post it. Thanks.